Tom Aspinall has finally hit back at Dana White following the controversy at UFC 321, where Dana suggested that Tom should have continued fighting after the eye poke. That comment clearly struck a nerve, and now Aspinall is responding publicly. He didn't sugarcoat anything and carefully explained his side of the situation. He also opened up about what his recovery timeline could realistically look like moving forward. According to Aspinall, surgery is now a real possibility depending on how his eye reacts over the next few weeks. At the moment, he isn't training, sparring, or doing any kind of light MMA work. He's strictly following doctor's orders and waiting on further evaluations. If surgery becomes necessary, that would obviously delay any chance of a fast return to the octagon. So in Tom's words, the idea that he should have simply kept fighting that night is completely unrealistic. Then he went in on Ciryl Gane. Tom says the eye poke wasn't some random accident. He claims Gane's fingers were extended and aimed toward his eyes for most of the round. Aspinall straight up called him a cheater, saying the French fighter kept reaching toward his face until, eventually, the worst possible scenario happened. Now fans are fired up for a rematch after seeing how competitive the fight looked, especially since it was nothing like Tom's usual first-round finishes.
Think about Dana White saying Tom didn't continue, and then also, who gives a shit to eye pokes?
Well, listen, I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a f***ing dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there and fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see.
With double vision?
With any eye. Look, I know, as an MMA fighter, look, things are going to happen in the fight that compromise you. Go back and watch my fight with Arlovski. At the end of the first round, he punched me right in the eyeball. For the rest of that fight, I couldn't see him out that eye. That's fine. If you get punched or kicked in the eye, that's fine. If you get double eye poked in both eyes and you've got no vision because of a foul, why should I carry on? So some dummy can look and say, oh yeah, Tom just got knocked out, because I ain't going to fight if I can't see anything because of a foul. If it's an illegal move, we have to fight through it. That's what we do as fighters. But when it's a foul, why am I going to put my health at risk when I can't see at all?
Michael Chandler has now confirmed that his fight with Conor McGregor is officially locked in for June 2026, set to take place at a historic White House event that will be broadcast live on CBS. If everything goes according to plan, this could easily become the most watched UFC event of all time. Dana White is going all in on making this a massive spectacle. He's already stated that the event will be held outdoors, even if the weather is bad. Yes, even if it's snowing. Behind the scenes, production costs are reportedly skyrocketing, with figures said to be hitting $20 million or more. That puts it on the same level as something like the UFC Sphere event, if not higher. But here's the part fans need to understand. According to MMA Junkie's Mike Bone, early discussions around the fight card suggest this won't be some Avengers-level lineup, where every champion is stacked onto one card. Instead, the UFC is building it around major draw names and high-profile matchups. Think Conor, think Kayla Harrison, think big names who bring eyeballs, not a card loaded with Jones, Makhachev, Topuria, and every other champion imaginable. It's still around 6 months away, and the UFC is known for pulling off last-minute surprises, so anything could change. But as of right now, the vision for this card is a massive event driven by location, production, and star power, not necessarily by stacking it with belts.
I've seen a lot of you guys asking me why I didn't call out Conor last night. Of course I'm not going to call out Conor at a wrestling match, okay? I've done it enough. The fight's already happening. You know I'm fighting. You know I want to fight him. You know he wants to fight me. He's brought in guys to his training camp to mimic my style. So that fight has already been called out, been signed, sealed, and delivered since June of 2024. He's going to make good on his promise, on his word, on the ink on the contract here in June of 26. So it made sense. I'll fight Conor June, Southpaw, White House. God bless. See you at the top.
After Michael Bisping revealed some behind-the-scenes info regarding Khamzat Chimaev's discipline and love for sweets, the MMA world went into full discussion mode. On his YouTube channel, Bisping claimed that people close to Chimaev actually have to keep an eye on him during camp because he'll sneak candy bars, even with a fight just weeks away. Apparently, they've opened his drawer and found stacks of them, told him he had a huge fight coming up, and Khamzat just laughed. And despite all that, he still went out and won UFC gold, surviving 5 rounds against Dricus du Plessis. But that's exactly where the debate began. A lot of fans and analysts said that performance didn't fully answer questions about his cardio and discipline long-term. DDP spent much of the fight on his back and never really pushed Chimaev at a punishing pace. So now that he's champion, people are wondering if his lifestyle habits will hold up with the entire division chasing him. When asked, Chimaev brushed everything aside and said he doesn't care about the chatter. And now, Joe Rogan has added his take. On a recent episode of his podcast, Rogan discussed Khamzat's wild side, his discipline issues, and whether that kind of lifestyle can actually survive at the championship level. Let's break it down.
Khamzat's a freak, man. He just needs to be a little bit more disciplined. Bro, discipline is art. Yeah, I think it is, because it's beautiful for me to see. When I see someone who's really truly disciplined, who like a David Goggins, someone who just like truly maximizes the grind, I feel like there's an art to that. And that I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. That's nonsense. People say that because they absolutely care what people think and it bothers them. So they say, I don't give a fuck. But that I don't give a fuck stuff is almost entirely nonsense. You do care. And you care in both ways. You care if people are critical of you, care if people are positive of you, but you also care if people are living positive lives and they're motivating you. That's a big one. People are fuel. And other people, it's one of the reasons why I like talking to people, one of the reasons why I like to do podcasts.
Josh Thomson just added fuel to the heavyweight fire, saying he believes the UFC will book Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane for an interim heavyweight title in early 2026. With Tom Aspinall now saying his eye injury is serious and he could be sidelined for quite some time, the timing actually makes a lot of sense. The division needs movement, and Pereira is the biggest available star. Meanwhile, Gane is coming off a no-contest title fight himself. Paddy versus Justin is already scheduled for late January, leaving space for another major event earlier in the month. That opens the door perfectly for a Pereira-Gane interim title fight. Two of the most elite strikers in MMA going at it at heavyweight on a pay-per-view stage would be insane. Stylistically, it's one of the hardest matchups to predict. Gane is possibly the most fluid mover the heavyweight division has ever seen. Light on his feet, excellent distance control, and nearly impossible to trap. But Pereira offers something Gane hasn't really dealt with before: terrifying one-punch knockout power combined with pinpoint accuracy. He only needs one clean shot and it's over. As of now, nothing is official, but the MMA community is definitely buzzing about the possibilities.
Why do you think that Dana took this approach on the first cards? This is the very first card on Paramount and the new TV deal and TV rights deal. Like, do you just think that they looked at Paddy and go, look, Paddy's all we have right now. He's the biggest probably draw we can get. Islam just fought. Chimaev just fought. Chimaev's injured right now. Like, we don't really have. Alex will step up. I honestly believe that Alex and Gane is going to be the very first CBS fight. I'm just in my mind right now. It's just actually, as we're talking, I'm going, there's just too many things. There's too many coincidences, like coincidences in this whole situation. Like John going, yeah, if it's not on the White House card, okay, I'll just, move on, or I'll do something else, whatever it is. And then you got Alex and you got Gane face to face at these events. And Tom Aspinall now all of a sudden is the eye and the medical report, and I could just see it happening.
That's it from MMA Time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA updates.